everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cynthia Uchendu, and here we talk about how to cultivate an atmosphere of heaven on earth and to make Jesus famous. I'm so excited that you're here today, and I'm even more excited that you're going to be a part of the family by subscribing. So make sure that you subscribe, and when you do, hit the bell so that you know every time I upload a video. So as you can tell from the title of today's video, I'm going to be teaching you all that therapy is not a curse word, okay? And this is specifically for Christians. Therapy is not a curse word. I do understand that you have two types of Christians when it comes to mental health and mental illness therapy, counseling, and all of that. On one extreme, you have Christians who are super radical and who don't believe in doctors, who don't believe in medicine, who don't believe in therapists, who don't believe in anything that has to do with any other assistance or intervention aside from God. And then you have another extreme of Christians who believe, no, I'm not praying, I'm not doing anything. I believe that my hope and my salvation and my deliverance and my healing lies in the hand of this doctor or this therapist or this counselor, what have you, right? I come today to just let you know that I really believe that therapy is not a curse word. I actually believe that therapy is a tool that God uses to set people free. And I'm going to show you why. The Bible talks about King Hezekiah. King Hezekiah was somebody, he was a king, he suffered from an illness. And because of his illness, he was going to die. But because of his right standing with God, he prayed and he sought the Lord, and God had mercy on him, and God extended the years on his life, right? And so in addition to King Hezekiah praying, the Bible talks about how he received an instruction from the Lord on what to use from, I think he had a boil or something. There was something that was wrong with him, I think his skin. And the Lord gave him an instruction. He gave him some kind of remedy, right, for that boil on his skin to go away. And because of the instruction that he received from the Lord, right, the Lord used something, right? He used, I think it was like a leaf and something else. I'm going to put it on the screen. But the Lord used something, and because of Hezekiah obeying the Lord, the Bible talks about he was healed, and he actually continued to live up until the time that he died, right? And so that's one example of showing you that God can use something, some kind of intervention, a person, right? Medicine, he can use a therapist, he can use a counselor to intervene and bring healing and wholeness in a situation, okay? So it's very biblical to use some kind of a remedy of some sort. I think sometimes when we think about God wanting to take all the glory and God, you must do this, I want it to be known that God, this was your hand and your hand alone. I don't want any intervention from human beings. We have to understand that God, in order for him to do something in the earth, he has to use a person, okay? Hence why he had to come down in man form and walk the earth, right, as we know today, Jesus. And so God has to use a person and work through a person or a certain thing in order to manifest his will here on earth, right? And so it's very important that we take God out of a box. Like, God can very well do supernatural things without the intervention of a person, right? God is God, he can do that. But what I want to teach you all is that God can use things like medicine. God can use things like therapists. God can use things like counselors, okay? Another story in the Bible that I want to bring to your attention is that of King Asa. King Asa was someone who also suffered from some kind of illness of some sort. And the Bible talks about he didn't even consult with God. Instead, he consulted with a doctor. And God was not pleased with that because his hope and his faith lied in the fact that, oh, this doctor is going to heal me from this foot situation that I have going on. God was not pleased with that. And so we have to understand that there's a balance between the two. God is not wanting us to go to therapists and counselors and doctors thinking that they're the one who is going to be responsible for my healing or for my wholeness or whatever. On the other end, God is saying, I can instruct you to use a certain thing to get healed or to get whole. Does that make sense? And so God is saying, like, be open to how he wants to move. Be open to how he wants to bring you healing in this new year, okay? And so I really just believe that this is really going to help people and set them free, because I honestly used to be a person where my understanding was mental illness, therapy, mental health, like that's a demon, sis, you need to get that out. I do understand that there are those kinds of people, and I was that kind of person, but even if, let's just say that's a demon, okay, let me break it down this way. let's just say that is a demon, and there are things going. My last video was actually on strongholds, where I teach you all about pulling down certain ungodly ways of thinking that of course are contrary to the word of God. And so obviously they're not God. The enemy is speaking into people's minds. And so yes, I do believe that these things can be demonic, yes. But in the same way, even when you get delivered, you still have to go through some kind of renewing of your mind. That's why the Bible talks about renewing your mind. Even in the book of Matthew, it talks about when a demon leaves out of a man, it goes and roams around to see if it can find a place of rest. When it doesn't find that, it will return back to the house in which it left, and it will actually return with demons stronger than it, many demons stronger than it, right? And so that's why the Bible, in that regard, I brought that up, because whenever you get deliverance of some sort, you do have to, there has to be some kind of a renewing of your mind. There has to be some kind of a replacement of what left you. And so you have to put something back in. You have to retrain your mind. You have to renew your mind. You have to fill yourself up with the word of God. You know, in the field of social work, we talk about cognitive distortions and how a lot of times people have certain beliefs about themselves. Their mind is distorted. They're thinking things about themselves that is distorted. What therapy does is that it helps you to essentially walk through your life and identify the ways in which you have been thinking that are not healthy, and it helps you to begin to practice new ways of thinking, new ways of speaking about yourself, so that way you can live an abundant life. Does that make sense? I really want to make sure y'all are following me, okay? And so God uses people like therapists. God uses people like doctors. I really want us to like stop putting God in a box. Think bigger. God is bigger. God is not just moving in one way. God is saying, no, I want to use people to set you free. I want to use people to deliver you. I want to use people to bring you healing, okay? So in as much as you may go through deliverance, you also now need to have some kind of inner healing. You need to have some kind of discipleship of some sort. You need to have something that will help you to renew your mind, okay? And I know some people can argue, well, some of these counselors, they're not Christian. In fact, a lot of these people that are doing counseling and the social sciences as we see it today are not even believers. A lot of them believe in all of this new age stuff, and they do all these different techniques and yoga and all of this stuff. And so it's very important. What I'm saying and what I'm advocating for is that you do your research, and that you really make sure that you are in your journey and seeking out help and therapy and all of that, that you make sure that you're not falling into the hands or stumbling into the hands of somebody who is practicing new age or some kind of weird stuff, okay? So just make sure that you are the person that you are seeking out, you know, their beliefs aligns with your beliefs. I believe that God can use therapists. I believe God can use psychologists. I believe God can use social workers. God can use anyone he wants to. He is not limited to us. He is not a respecter of persons. And so I really hope that you gained something from this video. I really just really want y'all to be free. And I know if I have this burden, God is actually, his burden is 10 times more in this subject, okay? So 2021, let's be free. Let's experience heaven on earth. God has desired for us to experience, so that we can really just live an abundant life, okay? I love y'all. Give me a group hug. Let's do group hug. All right, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.